London control. Bravo Bravo Papa 01 out of light level 145 light level 200.
Roger. Golf Bravo Bravo Papa 01.
So as you can see, PF3 has a bit of a learning curve, and it does go wrong occasionally, you know, just gets out of sync, or like that for example, I dialed up the scenery and when it came back out, I'd lost my frequency somehow, and I had to tune back to the last one, who then gave me a climb instruction, and then end up back on this frequency. So I'm probably climbing a bit late at this point since I'm already out over the sea, just past Artov. I mean, there's no specific altitude at which I needed to be at Artov that I'm aware of, because it's we're past the standard departure. But I think I'm lower than I should be.
Golf Bravo Bravo Papa 01 contact London control on 118.35.
118.35. Bravo Bravo Papa 01. Good day. London control. Bravo Bravo Papa 01 is with you out of light level 170 or light level 200.
That's going to be interesting because I am I'm on my final leg before we begin the star, and there's just not enough time to get up to 30,000 feet before they'll need me to start descending, so we'll see what they do with that. So yeah, I think at some point we've got the radios out of sync and we've missed a bunch of climb instructions. It's not the end of the world, it doesn't ruin the flight. In some ways I would have been quite happy with lower altitude anyway. Obviously in the real world it would be a problem, but in the simulator not so much. I'm currently in what's called FLC, flight level change. So this is as you get to an auto throttle on this aircraft. Basically what you do is you specify the speed, or you capture a speed by pressing the FLC button, and it captures the speed your airspeed at that point. And it will then attempt to climb or descend to your assigned altitude, and it will try and maintain that airspeed by raising and lowering the nose. So your rate of climb will vary, but your speed should stay about the same, and that lets me stay on the number for the best climb performance of this aircraft, which is at around about 180 knots IAS. So at the moment my vertical speed is 1100 feet per minute, but if I start to speed up, then it will increase my angle of attack a little bit to slow me down, and my vertical speed will go up. And vice versa, if I wanted my vertical speed to increase, I could put more thrust in, and it would bring the nose up in order to keep the actual airspeed down. But I climb more rapidly, and equally if I wanted to climb more slowly I can reduce thrust, as long as it's got enough thrust to stay at the indicated airspeed. I've reached 20,000 feet, which I suspect is as high as I'm going to go, because I think they'll start to descend me fairly soon, and I'm going to let the speed increase. I'm one step below toga. I'm not going to go full toga. So I'm at about 88% engine output. I'm going to keep an eye on the speed. I don't want to exceed about 230 knots indicated. I think 255 is the V never exceed for this aircraft. Obviously your ground speed can be more than that. In a favourable circumstance, the ground speed can be as high as I think 410 knots Okay, so I'm about half the way to Redfern, which is where my star begins. So I'm on Redfern 1A. The aircraft will just fly that, that's fine. But when I hit Redfern, I should transition into Dutch airspace. Now, normally it seems to take a while for them to hand me over, so they hand me over to the Dutch arrival controller, and then they'll hand me over to the approach controller, and then the approach controller will clear me at some point close to Sugol, and say basically, you know, at Sugol you descend and maintain X, and then it's pilot's discretion. Then I'll check in with the tower, and we work it out from there. But I can put in an approach procedure based on my assumptions at the moment. So let's have a look, see what we got. So press the prop key, select approach. So note that I could have selected the arrival if I was building a flight plan actually in the G1000. I could say select arrival, but it's already in my flight plan, so that's fine. However, it needs a runway, so let's say ILS-27. There is, I think, RNAV-27 as well. Yeah, there is. But ILS is the gold standard. So ILS-27. Yes, okay, what we got, so vectors approach is simple. It's just I get vectored in until I hit my approach fix, and then I'm good from there. There's the R-tip transition, but that's really for aircraft coming in from the east, which I'm not. I'm going in from the west, although I will be landing on a, well, 27, so I'm landing westerly, so really that's not the right approach. You got river, that's really for people approaching up the coast from the southwest, and then you've got Sugol, and it's no surprise that Sugol is already on my flight plan, so that is obviously the one that I want. So I'll say Sugol, and I'll say load. So it's added to the flight plan, but it's not activated. So if we look at the flight plan page, and we scroll down past Sugol en route, and then we have our approach here. So you can see Sugol at the initial approach fix, it's expected to be at 10,000 feet, and then by SPL down to 7,000, and then 3,000 by EH04, 2,000 by Tidvo, and yeah, then so that's our VNAV profile. Now I've had a lot of luck getting VNAV to work. It's one of the reasons why so many videos have ended up in the bin. It's because the VNAV doesn't work, and I end up way too close to the runway and, you know, diving in like a kamikaze. And to be honest, I normally manage to get a thing on the ground, but it's not exactly an instructive flight. So let's see if we get it a bit better this time. Also got to be really careful. If you cancel, basically if you've already started your approach, there you go, you see.
Out of like level 200 or like level 160, Bravo, Papa 01.
Oh yeah.
Bravo, Papa 01, contact Amsterdam Centre on 125.75.
Oh, there we go.
125.75.
It's pretty good.
Bravo, Papa 01. Good day.
Now I can descend at about 2,500 feet per minute,
Amsterdam
and
Centre.
for that I'm on engines idle.
Bravo, Papa 01 with you out of flight level 190.
I will bleed off a little bit of speed,
160.
but that's fine, because I really need to slow down anyway.
Roger. Golf. Bravo, Papa 01.
Not sure why the Dutch air controller appears to have some kind of strange accent which doesn't appear very Dutch, but who knows, maybe they don't have any. No, they actually do have Dutch controllers. I know they do because I've seen them. Well, I heard them, sorry. Right, so we are past Redfer into Dutch airspace, handed over to the approach controller on our way to Sulut, coming down to 16,000. By Sulut, I would ideally like to be down to 13, which gives me time to get down to 10,000 for Sugol. They're normally quite aggressive with their descent, so it shouldn't be a problem. But obviously if I'm not at 10,000 or very near at Sugol, then the VNAV is not going to work. If the VNAV doesn't work, it'll make things a little bit more complicated. Okay, I reached 16,000. I'm going to let it bleed off a little bit of speed. Down to... oh, a bit of a thunderstorm over there. Down to about 220 knots, there we go. And then reapply some thrust. Really would like an auto throttle. Now there is apparently a Mach hold mode on this aircraft. I have yet to get that to work, but then there is no Mach hold button on my G1000. I'm not sure actually if there's a button that works, so it may be something that you can only get at through the software G1000, so I may have to have a look at that. I can't see any buttons on the main autopilot panel either, but there's definitely a way to do it, and again it just does it the same way as the flight level change by adjusting the angle of attack to slow down or speed up slightly. Okay, I expect to get more descent instructions fairly soon, hopefully. I could always lie and tell him I'm getting turbulence and ask for a low altitude. It is cheating slightly. A few more flashes, so there's also some thunderstorms around in the area. Oh yeah, dead ahead of us. Yeah, so that's the thunderhead right there. I did don't want to go through that. Just extend the range of my weather radar, see if I can pick that up. So I have to use the... no, it's not seeing it, but then I don't know at what point the simulation actually picks up the weather entering. We'll see in due course.
Amsterdam Centre. Bravo, Papa 01, request lower altitude due to turbulence.
Bravo, Papa 01, enable meter, flight level 160.
So they really want me on whatever
Roger.
curve they've got me on.
Papa 01.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens. It's not absolutely the end of the world because I could pick up the VNAV again at 7,000 feet at SPL if I needed to. VNAV, by the way, if you're not familiar with it, stands for vertical navigation. just like LNAV stands for lateral navigation, and RNAV stands for radio navigation. And these are different kind of control modes. So the VNAV mode is when your autopilot is controlling not just your lateral flight, you know, your direction, but also your height. Now, of course, most autopilots let you climb or descend at a fixed rate, but VNAV actually climbs you, or well, more accurately, usually descends you based on a fixed GPS schedule on the map. So it says basically, by this point here from where you are now, you need to be at this altitude, and then it works out how fast you need to descend based on your current speed and everything else to do that, and it does it for you. Which means that if you have your flight plan properly mapped in, and your VNAV is correct, then you can engage the VNAV mode, which turns on the V path, vertical path, and the aircraft will fly right the way to your final approach, and then if it's set up properly as an ILS transition, it should then switch you over from GPS navigation to the localizer at the appropriate time. Oh, here we go. That'll do me.
Out of like level 160 or like level 100. Bravo, Papa 01.
Let's see, 20 miles to there. I'm not going to make it to 10,000 unless I increase my rate of descent a bit. Unfortunately, because I'm picking up a small amount of speed, which I don't really want to do. Feet per minute. Got 4 minutes. And an additional 4,000 to go. Yeah, I'll make it. I'll make it with time to spare now. But only just. And then when I get down to 10,000, I can bleed off some speed and get down to my approach speed. Weather's looking a little bit nasty. So when we get to Seagull, I will expect to get clearance from the controller to approach, and he'll probably ask me to go down to 3,500, which is the standard height. Now, as I understand it, and I could be wrong here, once he says basically clear to final pilot's discretion, I can basically ignore that descent instruction in favour of the vertical navigation profile for the approach that I have chosen, and go over to the tower and check in with the tower. That's as I understand it, because otherwise my VNAV profile is completely ruined. So that's what I'm going to do. Whether that fly in the real world, I guess in the real world the controller would know which approach you're supposed to be taking, and would know where you would need to be in terms of your vertical profile. I don't think PF3 has a way of doing that at this point, but there is some customization you can do for stars, and maybe I've just got to find the right star. And you see, there's our problem right there.
Out of like level 100 or like level 90. Bravo, Papa 01.
He wants me to come down another 1,000 feet, and that will break my VNAV profile. So do I ignore him and hope he clears me before he prompts me, or do I do it and then I lose the first step of my VNAV? I'm going to do it because I think he'll get upset with me otherwise.
Golf, Bravo, Papa
V4.2 Golf Bravo Bravo Papa 01, good day.
5 miles to Sugon.
Approach. Golf Bravo Bravo Papa 01 with you. Level light level 90.
Golf Bravo Bravo Papa 01, roger.
Alright, I need to be down to 7,000 for SPL, but that's some distance away yet. Alright, here we go. So just slow it down a little bit. And 85 knots. 2 miles to Sugon. Now in theory I shouldn't activate my approach until I've been cleared. Oh, here comes the rain.
Golf Bravo Bravo Papa 01 at Sierra Uniform Golf Oscar Lima sent to flight level 30. Clear to final 4 Sierra Tango approach runway 36 left and pilot is clear. Contact tower on 118.1 when established.
Out of light level 90 or light level 30 at Sierra Uniform Golf Oscar Lima until established on final 4 runway 36 left. Contact tower on 118.1 when established. Golf Bravo Bravo Papa 01.
And there is my problem. So I'm cleared at pilot's discretion, but my approach is now wonky because they've got me on runway 36. So I clear that approach. I will select another approach for ILS 36. I'm going to assume it's 36. Right. Well, it could be 36C and sidestep. So I don't really know, but let's say 36 right. Sugon is the initial approach fix. I'm going to activate that and start flying that now. I hear the rain. At the moment you can see rain on the windshield, but you can't hear rain. You heard rain for a second. That's an unfortunate side effect of trying to synchronise 2 copies of active sky. You can synchronise the clouds and everything else really well, as long as you start both copies at the same time, and then their kind of internal timers are about synced up. But it appears like when you're in patchy rain, the timing as to when the rain comes on and goes off is random. And so what you hear on the client and what you hear on the host are not the same. Oh well, that's just dumb. So the autopilot's decided to, because I just passed Sugon, decided to fly me back to Sugon. That's just silly. Talk about an autopilot being a bit literal. Yeah, score 0 for the autopilot there. I'm going to manually bring myself around. Get back on track. It would have done that eventually anyway, but it's a real waste of time. Okay. Back into GPS mode. Just looking at this arrival, it's quite convoluted. Yep, it's definitely quite convoluted. I suppose it might make sense for an airliner doing 250 knots, but not necessarily for me. Anyway, I'm back on track now, which is good. It's getting a bit dark and a bit rainy. Got a little bit of cloud desync as well now. Not seeing quite exactly the same clouds in exactly the same position on both copies of Active Sky. So again, I think there's some random cloud generation going on. Not seeing anything on my weather radar either, which is unusual. I wonder if somehow it has failed. Because normally I'd expect to be seeing all this rain. Now of interest, if I go down and switch away and switch back. Nope. Don't know why that's not working. It's all part of the wonderful pageant that is flight simulation, I guess. Okay, so we're just approaching the Dutch coast. I can just see land down there. Probably nowhere near detailed enough to be visible on the camera yet. But I'm starting to see the built-up areas of Amsterdam. That's all part of the new scenery. Lots and lots of buildings down there, and yet the frames are still very reasonable. So I'm going to want to come down to 7,000 feet in order to hit SPL. So the active profile, so my target will be minus 1,000 feet per minute when we reach top of descent. You can probably, yes, you can now start to see some of the built-up area of Amsterdam down here. Move my head out of the way just in case you can't see it through my head. Got all these buildings down here, there are hundreds, thousands of them. It's certainly a lot more detailed. Now, if you had your scenery set to ultra dense and your auto jump high, this whole area would just be full of buildings and built-up areas. And of course, the frames will be going at about 5 frames per second. That's the airport there. So I have the airport in sight. I think I might tell the controller that.
Approach. Bravo, Bravo, Papa 01 has the airport.
Go, Bravo, Bravo, Papa 01, contact tower on 118.1.
Okay, go over now.
118.1.
My co-pilot should do that for me.
01.
And he is.
tower.
And we're about to hit top of the
Bravo,
sands.
Papa 01 at 11 miles to the northwest at flight level 90 landing.
Golf, Bravo, Papa 01, continue approach your number 14 landing.
There you go, there's the built up area.
Roger, continue approach number 14 landing. Golf, Bravo, Papa 01.
Which is not to say there wouldn't be any built up stuff here, it's just not being shown.
01 winds 335 at 13, clear to land runway 36 left.
Clear to land, runway 36 left. Golf, Bravo, Bravo, Papa 01.
Now you'll notice I'm currently on approach for 36 right, and I'm going to stay on it, and then once we get on our approach, because basically you've got 36 right, 36 centre, 36 left, they're not separated by much. Now 36 left does not have an ILS. Instead what you're supposed to do is do a so-called sidestep approach, so you basically run down the ILS for 36 centre and then you jink left. So I'm just going to do that, but then I'm going to jink all the way across to 36 left. I could redo my approach, but if I did that it would insist on going back to the initial approach fix, and I haven't worked out how to remove steps from an approach once I've picked it. So we're going to just fly this approach now. 2 miles from SPL, so now we're going to arm the VNAV. I'm at 7,000 feet, which is where I need to be. So when I hit SPL, VPath should kick in and the aircraft should start to descend towards 3,000 feet at NV. Okay, so I've hit SPL. Need to set down the altitude. So VPath hasn't quite kicked in yet. I think I've missed that. So again, for VPath to kick in, it's one of the problems I've realised I've had. You have to have the selected altitude lower than the VPath altitude, otherwise that overrides it. So now I'm going to manually bring the nose down. It's saying I need about 790 feet per minute, so I go to minus 800. Oh, some air traffic over there. Taking off by the looks of it, he's gaining altitude. So my next step is 3,000 feet at NV. So I've armed the VPath again. Well, it's about 7, so this time I shall set my selected altitude to 0. Now again, this is where things tend to go wrong for me. So let's watch out for fun. I need a little bit more nose down. So you can see, here's NV, which I'm heading down towards. I'm slightly off the track. I think that's because the autopilot is optimising me to get me here, so I can come around for that. So we'll see if it works. The other alternative is that I've drifted, somehow managed to drift off.
wind 335 at 9 and 81014, clear to land, runway 36, left, KLM 1246.
I think it's being clever, but it's always possible that I've drifted off GPS. This does happen occasionally. No, I can see the cross-track marker, so we're good. So sometimes the GPS will suspend itself, and it just says susp. If you don't notice it, you think you're still on GPS navigation, and you're not. More rain. Got rain at the same time this time. Yeah, there you go. I should turn right fairly soon. If I don't, then I know I've got a problem. It's not the end of the world. Okay. No, it's not turning me. Okay, so I think I've drifted off. So what I do in that circumstance is... Oh no. Yeah, so I go to heading, and then I go back to nav. And then I've got to manually get myself back on track. Now I have no idea how that happened. And again, it's just one of those really irritating things that I don't seem to be able to solve. See, this is the reason why there's so few videos. I get to this point and I think it's just not worth it. But I'm pushing ahead this time. Nearly at 3,000 feet. Altitude select 3,000 feet. VNAV wise, I need to be at 2,000 for EH634. I don't think V-Path is going to work at all, if I'm being honest. I think we're going to be slightly stuck here. But it's not the end of the world. Oh, weather radar's working again. I'll keep an eye on my speed. Try not to go over 190. Being buffeted a bit by the wind, obviously. It's all a bit grey out there. I'm going to put my taxi and landing lights on. Ready. Alright, so I picked up the course again. Heading towards 2,000 feet. So... will it do the V-Path for me? Oh, I don't think it will. Maybe. On 1 mile. Let's see if it does. If it doesn't do it this time, then I'm just going to abandon that idea and fly it in kind of manually. There's the ground. Slow down a bit. Okay, I can see the runway lights ahead of me there. No, V-Pass did not kick in, although I haven't said that. I should still be at 2,000 feet for the next waypoint, which is in 0.7 of a mile, so we'll see how that goes. Now that's runway 36 centre, runway 36 left is out there. Oh yeah. Okay, time to brake out and sidestep. First notch of flap. So 36 right there, 36 centre there, 36 left over there. Doesn't even appear to have runway lighting, although maybe some will appear when they get a bit closer. Second notch flaps. Slow it down a bit. Make a turn. Gear down, flaps full.
Autopilot.
And autopilot is off. So this is runway 36 left, which was built a while ago. If you've ever flown out of Amsterdam and had the eternal taxi, then you've been in or out of 36 left. It does not have an ILS, so you end up sidestepping from 36 left, and of course I was already on 36 right, so yeah, as a demonstration of G1000 based approach, this has frankly not been the best demonstration flight ever, but that's alright. I'm comfortable with it. Just check out the scenery though, it's very nice. I'm at 114 knots. Obviously I didn't want to stall.
500.
My flaps are full, so I'm good. Down to about 90 knots. Probably a little bit high. There are no PAPI lights here either. I don't know if there are or not in the real world. It seems like a woefully ill-equipped runway given that so many commercial flights take off and land from it. But, oh yeah, I'm going to go long, but it's a decent sized runway, so that's not the end of the world. Right, flare it. And down we go. Let me that turn off. But there's another one coming up.
Golf, Bravo, Bravo, Papa, 01, exit right, next available taxiway, contact ground on 121.7 and clear of the active.
That's definitely a Dutch accent.
Exit runway right ground on 121.7. Bravo, Bravo, Papa 01.
Okay, bring the flaps up. A little bit more ground speed. Tiny, teeny bit more. This is a bit of a wide turn as well, since it's clearly meant for aircraft going in the other direction, but that's alright, I can handle it. Things are a little bit choppy frame wise. Big airport this, and lots of traffic.
Bravo, Bravo, Papa 01, clear of the active runway.
Bravo, Bravo, Papa 01, hold your position.
Right, time to get up my airport charts.
Bravo, Bravo, Papa 01, roger, taxi to Gate Juliet 72, using taxiway Victor 1, Victor, Papa 7, Victor, Echo, Victor, Whiskey 3, Whiskey, Bravo, Alpha 2, 1, Alpha.
Victor 1, Victor, Papa 7, Victor, Echo, Victor, Whiskey 3, Whiskey, Bravo, Alpha 2, 1, Alpha, Gate Juliet 72, Bravo, Bravo, Papa 0, 1.
Wow. That's quite a thing.
KLM 1246, clear of the exit for KLM 1246, taxi to terminal. Taxi to terminal. KLM 1246.
Ground control, Citybird 1327, ready to taxi.
Citybird 1327, taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right.
Taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36 right, Citybird 1327.
Well, anyway, here we are on the ground. We made it. Our approach wasn't the best. So, lessons learned. Careful about picking your approach. I made assumptions about runways and was sadly disappointed. And then I missed my VNAV by scant seconds of feet. And from then on, the vertical profile seemed to be broken. Again, the mysteries of VNAV are as yet unsolved by me. I've had it work, but it's not consistent. But nonetheless, I was able to make a decent-ish approach into 36 left.
Delta line 2309, taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right.
Not sure how much my passengers would agree with me, but I was not unhappy with it.
Skyline 1163, ready to taxi. KLM 1163, taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right. Taxi
I'm going slightly slow on my taxi, mainly because I don't know where I'm going.
Ground Citybird 1891, ready to taxi.
Citybird 1891, taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right.
Turning left here onto Victor, that much I know.
Hold. Runway 36, right. Citybird 1891.
Ground KLM 1097, ready for taxi.
Stuttering doesn't help.
KLM 1097, taxi to runway and hold. Runway
Looks nice thunderstorms going on there. Dark and stormy nights.
Taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right. KLM 1097.
Okay, this is the point which I'm not really sure what I'm doing. So, what I'm going to do
taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right.
is I'm going to ask him to repeat his instructions.
Bravo, Bravo, Papa 01, say again.
And then I get this little window, which is very handy.
Juliet 72 using taxiway Victor 1, Victor, Papa 7, Victor, Echo, Victor, Whiskey 3, Whiskey, Bravo, Alpha 2, 1, Alpha.
Oh, I see. Right.
Victor 1, Victor, Papa 7, Victor, Echo, Victor, Whiskey
That
3,
makes sense.
Whiskey, Bravo, Alpha 2, 1, Alpha, Gate Juliet 7, 2, Bravo, Bravo, Papa 01.
How would a real world pilot be supposed to remember all that? I suppose if they knew the airport really well.
1481, ready to taxi.
KLM 1481, taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right.
So Papa 7 is just straight along
To runway
here.
and hold. Runway 36, right. KLM 1481.
Ground control Citybird 1761, ready to taxi.
Then I want Victor Echo.
Citybird 1761, taxi to
Here.
runway and hold. Runway 36, right.
Taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36 right, Citybird 1761.
Then from Victor Echo onto Victor.
Scandinavian 554 into taxi.
So learning how to follow the ground signs is important.
Scandinavian.
Sadly, they're not always high enough resolution on the screen that I can read them at an appropriate distance.
Roger, taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right. Scandinavian 554.
So Victor Echo, Whiskey 3, Whiskey Bravo.
Ground Shamrock 845, ready to taxi.
Okay, so I'm following this for a bit.
Shamrock 845, taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right.
Roger, taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right. Shamrock 845.
Oh yeah, there's quite a distance yet. Oh. I guess if taxiing and parking isn't your thing, then you can probably fast forward to the end now. But I reckon this is going to take another 10 minutes at this rate. Well, that was interesting.
Ground control Citybird 1515, ready to taxi.
That's an A380. Going somewhere.
Citybird 1515, taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right. Taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right. Citybird 1515. Ground control, no shuttle, all 5 radio, ready to taxi.
Stand my landing lights on, I'll switch to the taxi lights. Avoid blinding anybody.
Runway and hold. Runway 36, right. Taxi to runway and hold. Runway grade 6, right. No shuttle, all 5 grade 2.
Ground control Speedbird 443, ready to taxi.
Speedbird 443, taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right.
Taxi to the runway and hold. Runway 36, right. Speedbird 443.
Let's feed to M,
Ground
which is
control,
not where I want to go.
939,
I'm looking for Whiskey
taxi
3.
City Bird 939, taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right.
Taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right, City Bird 939. Ground City Bird 1775, ready for taxi.
City Bird 1775, taxi to runway and
Okay,
hold.
straight on.
Runway 36, right.
Taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right, City Bird 1775.
Yeah. So this... no. No, I've gone wrong. I've gone wrong. I have taken the wrong turning. And unfortunately... as far as I know, in PF3 there's no way to let them know that you've cocked up. So in this situation you just have to assume that I'm talking to the ground control and saying, hey, I missed my turn off. Unfortunately, this one long taxiway, the next turn off is at Whiskey 9 here, which is some distance away from where I wanted to be. Also, my location on the MFD is drifting off. Does this, I don't know exactly why. Some kind of geomagnetic drift. So there is a turning coming here. Which I can take. Although actually, I might as well carry on. Yeah, I might as well carry on. I may as well carry on. So I can turn left here, but then I've got to cross the runway. Now again, ordinarily I'd check in with the ground controller before doing anything like this, but PF3 is not smart enough on the ground controller front.
City Bird 1733, ready to taxi.
City Bird 1733, taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right.
I see no traffic
Taxi to runway
on my
and hold.
TCAS,
Runway 36,
so I'm
right.
going to take a chance
City Bird 1733.
and nip across the runway.
Ground Jersey 114 ready to taxi.
Jersey 114,
Nip across this runway here.
Runway 36, right.
Taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36 right. Jersey 114.
We'll just hang a left here.
Ready to taxi.
Easy
Oh, really starting to...
Runway 36, right.
Runway and full. Runway 36, right.
really starting to...
Ground City Bird 1221, ready to taxi.
Oops.
City Bird 1221, taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right. Taxi to the runway and hold. Runway 36,
Okay.
right. City Bird 1221.
Ground control, City Bird
Left here.
1749, ready to taxi.
City Bird 1749, taxi to runway and
Alpha
hold.
26.
Runway 36, right.
Taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right. City Bird 1749.
Okay, this is whiskey. Now I go back up till I find whiskey 3. That's where I should have turned off in the first place.
EHAM 78, taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right.
Then we'll Bravo and Alpha 21.
36, right. EHAM 78.
So I'm actually on Bravo now. Not whiskey, sorry. So, yeah, when I get to Alpha 21, so I haven't gone too far out of my way.
KLM 1399, taxi to runway
Still a
and hold.
distance though.
Runway 36, right. Taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right. KLM 1399.
It's really quite dramatic weather. Straight taxiway, so I can up to a point get away with a little bit faster, but I don't want to slow down. Got the intersection coming up here. So at this intersection I go right, and then Alpha 21 is immediately again to my right, and then I follow Alpha, and then my parking space should be just over here. So let's find out. Yes, super choppy now. This is Alpha 21. I'm going to Juliet 72. So let's have a look at my aerodrome map here. Alpha 1. Alpha 2, Alpha 1. So it should be... Okay, my charts don't seem to line up. 82019A.
Ground easy 4568, ready to taxi.
Easy 4568, taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right.
Taxi to runway and hold, runway 36 right, easy 4568.
Ground City Bird 199, ready to taxi.
City Bird 1499, taxi to runway and hold. Runway 36, right.
There's no real markings to indicate which is supposed to be my stand.
Ground control. Air France 1875, ready to taxi.
Air France 1875, taxi to runway and hold, runway 36 right.
Taxi to runway and hold runway 36 right. Air
What's the J apron? No apron. K apron. No J apron though. Great, I don't even have a chart there. Well, needs must. Yeah, they're not marked at all. Okay. Well, this is the default ORBX Schipol. It's not an add-on Schipol, so I guess it's not detailed to the nth degree. PF3 obviously doesn't know the airport that well. So, despite a lack of markings,
ground control, Citybird 1863, ready to taxi.
I'm just going to park on this apron here. This is the right apron, and it does not appear to have any parking spaces mapped upon it, so it'll have to do.
ground control Citybird 1539, ready to taxi.
Okay, there we are, we're on the ground.
Citybird 1539, taxi to runway and hold, runway 3.
Taxi to runway and hold, runway 36 right.
Well, we made it. Phew, eh? Now, easy enough to stop the engines in a mid fade out. You just go like that, and like that. Yeah, lots of traffic moving around. One of the reasons why this airport is, I think, a little bit choppy on frames is just because there is so much traffic. But it's a good example of a nice busy airport if that's your thing, and I must admit I do quite like them. Stuff coming and going all the time. You could just sit here and watch the aircraft movement if you felt like it. So, yeah, thank you. You get those beats when you're shutting things down. I guess I would say, yeah, as flights go, that was all right. The departure from London City was fine. The flight itself was fine, except that. Shush. No. Shush. I think it would keep on beeping unless I shut it off. Turn the avionics master off. And the battery off. And same on the client machine. So yeah, the departure I think was okay. And we were good until some point early on in the departure, where somehow the radio got screwed up and we missed a bunch of calls to ascend, to climb, and as a result we didn't get anywhere close to our cruising altitude before we had to descend again. So some issues with PF3 synchronizing the radios, and again that's a learning curve issue with PF3. Once the descent began, everything I think was fine until we hit the approach point, and at that point my faulty assumption that we would get clear to runway 27 cost me, because by the time I'd gotten my procedures sorted out, I'd passed the point to initialise the VNAV, and from then on, no matter what I did, I couldn't seem to get it back again, so I was left basically flying the VNAV profile manually, and there's nothing per se wrong with that. And then when we finally did get our clearance, it was 236 left, which doesn't have an ILS, so you can only make a visual approach. I think you might be able to make an RNAV approach, I'm not entirely sure. I need to check that out, but at that point I could only make a visual approach, so I had to sidestep it which is all a little bit last minute, but actually the glider slope profile was pretty good, although I was a little bit high at the end and landed a little bit long. And then of course taxiing takes an age anyway from that runway, but then I missed my turn off, which meant going right the way around the bottom end of one runway and back up again, and then having done that I can't even find the spot he's talking about because there's no markings on the apron. So I'm going to award myself a score of 6 out of 10 for that one. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's an example, a good example of the kind of flights I've been doing recently. That one's actually worked out a lot better than many, and I don't feel too bad about putting this on YouTube, provided that the video quality and the audio quality is good. So if you're watching this, obviously I must have done so. I'm planning to make more videos, rather more than I have been, but I'm also planning on doing some construction work on the sim itself. So I'm going to take out these panels and I'm going to redo them as a single panel, and then change the underlying structure a little bit. That will let me then put screens down the middle here so I can get rid of these FIPs, which are fine, but they can't be used for anything other than displaying SATEC gauges, and replace them with a couple of 7-inch touchscreens in portrait mode. And they can show FIPs, but they can also show other pieces of information, like for example the engine display on the MFD here, excuse me. While I'm at it, I'll do a few other bits and pieces of work, so the sim will probably be down for a couple of weeks while I do that, and obviously then there'll be no videos for a little while. So I'll try and pad the channel with a few videos, get a few done, ready to release, and hopefully have a more regular schedule than you've had recently. As I say, apologies for that, there's all kinds of reasons, but at the end of the day, I'm not a professional full-time YouTuber, I'm just doing this for fun, and if I'm not actually completing flights, then there's not really a great deal of material. But I do want to make some videos about the simulator itself and setting things up, and build up my visual display configuration video from a couple of months ago, and you know, look at some training topics, GA, just simple things like navigation, flying patterns, all the stuff that I'm kind of learning and trying to get better at, as well as the more conventional flying like this. So from a dark and stormy Schipol airport, thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, then think about clicking the like button and possibly even the subscribe button, and then if you press the little bell icon, you will know when I release a new video, which, you know, recently it hasn't been that often, but hopefully going forward will be rather more frequently. So look forward to seeing you back here for more flight video fairly soon. Thanks for watching.